What kind of movie is it? It actually saved a company from the brink of bankruptcy. It's not so much a movie, more like a character. He's Iron Man. As the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man is unlike any other superhero. He doesn't have the natural powers of Thor. There is no super serum from Team America. There is no powerful magic of Doctor Strange. Then how did he rely on his mortal body? Created 10 glorious years of Marvel movies. Let's walk into this today. The beginning of the Marvel Universe. Tony Stark. Ben is a famous rich second generation. He built the integrated circuit at the age of 4. 6-year-old builds motorcycle engine. Inherited his father's business at the age of 21. He became the youngest entrepreneur in America. The advanced weapons he developed, Let Stark Industries, became the largest weapons developer in the United States. However, he's young and promising, but he's a playboy behind his back. Powerful money ability allows him to have no women who can't handle it. Even the female reporter full of justice questioned him.
What do you say to your other nicknames? You ever lose an hour of sleep your whole life?
Prepared to lose a few with you.
Day 2. Reporter wakes up, then in Tony's villa, bathed in the sun of happiness, and now Tony is in the war zone. Show off the newly developed super weapon to the officers. Apparently, the power of the weapon satisfies the military. Unexpectedly, it was on the way back. Tony, who can flirt with female soldiers, suffered an unknown attack. The soldiers were instantly beaten into sieves. Frightened, Tony hurried out of the car, hid behind rocks. He was about to send a distress signal. A missile landed next to it. He just saw the big words Stark Industries. It was blown up 108,000 miles away. When he wakes up again, he actually pulled out an 8-meter long tube in his nose, and there is an extra battery in the chest. It turned out that the weapons he developed were too advanced. Fragments of the bomb actually penetrated his body armor to prevent debris from flowing into the heart. Dr. Ethan. This is the electromagnet, implanted in her chest. Didn't wait for Tony to come to his senses. A group of terrorists broke in. They speak fluent bird language. Tony didn't understand a word until I saw the missile blueprint. Only then did Tony understand their purpose. He rejected the terrorists outright. Didn't expect to be performed on the spot with a handstand shampoo. Even if you die, but the hairstyle can't be messed up. Helpless Tony had to pretend to agree, but secretly made an escape plan with the doctor. Under the watchful eye of terrorists, he's pretending to be building missiles. While using cobalt in it, he made himself an arc reactor. At this moment, the doctor knew what Tony was really going to build. Although it is monitored 24 hours a day, but they still secretly made some parts. However, the boss of the gangsters found a clue. He rushed into the cell with his men, hold down the doctor, threatening Tony to see the missile the next day. In order to prevent the doctor's head from blooming, Tony had to agree. So the two are like workaholics. The equipment was made that night. With the help of the doctor, Tony finally put on his armor. Wait until the bald brother finds out that something is wrong. It's too late. Tony's armor is already being activated. Unfortunately, the gangster's computer is too slow, affected the speed of warframe activation. Doctor. To buy Tony time, I picked it up and rushed out the AK. Unexpectedly, I was surrounded by a group as soon as I rushed to the door. As the progress bar comes to an end, the landmark first generation Mark armor, official debut. In front of this powerful armor, they were powerless to fight back. Armor is not only invulnerable, the strength is also extremely ferocious. Not only did he kick open a 10-meter thick steel door, it sent the boss to the west in one shot. Watching the savior being beaten into a sieve, Tony is in great pain. It is because the doctor died for himself. Only a glorious decade of Iron Man, and he was furious, walking to the entrance of the cave. Have you seen Iron Man's first generation armor? Although it is rough to work, but in the face of hundreds of machine gun fire, still keeps Tony still. Wait for the enemy to run out of bullets. It activates the flamethrower on its arm. With one move, the flame jet sent his men to the west. He also burned all the weapons of Stark Industries. With an explosion, the armor is in flight mode. However, the fuel shortage caused it to fall directly into the desert. After hitting the ground hard, Mark, a tin can of armor is scrapped, but he managed to save Tony. But the desert is so hot, at minus 300 degrees. How Tony wished he could feel the cold air blowing out of the air conditioner. Fortunately, Rod found him smoothly. When he gets home safely, the first thing to do is to hold a press conference. At this point, Tony realized his weapons not only failed to bring peace to mankind, instead, it became the trigger for war. It defeats his original intention, so he made a decision.
To offer this world than just making things that blow up. And that is why, effective immediately, I am shutting down the weapons manufactured.
Tony's voice is not lost. There was a media outcry. This also attracted the second in command of Stark Industries, Jeff's strong dissatisfaction. He questioned Tony as an arms dealer. If you don't make weapons, are you going home to farm? And that's when Tony showed him the reactor on his chest. Seeing this, Jeff just laughed. He knows that the value of new energy sources cannot be compared with arms. Back home, Tony upgrades the reactor again and let Pepper Potts put it on for him, and he was ready to throw it away. But the delicate Pepper Potts didn't do it. Instead, I silently made a gift for Tony. And Tony is working non-stop on the Mark World War II armor, except for Pepper Potts. He doesn't trust anyone, only in secret with artificial intelligence Jarvis. After completing the flight device, he developed the palm cannon. After countless debugging, finally finished Mark World War II. Compared to Tink and armor, Mark II is more domineering side leakage. With Jarvis artificial intelligence, Tony can't wait to fly out and feel it. The powerful flight performance makes Tony very excited, breaking the record for a human flight altitude in minutes. Unexpectedly, when he challenged the extreme height, the armor begins to freeze. What follows is a free fall at an altitude of 10,000 meters. Luckily, Tony opened the flank in time. This just restarted the battle armor. Tony at this time, it should be the happiest time he laughed. He never imagined, until I sacrificed myself, I never had such a smile again. When he went back to the roof to land, I didn't expect this 100-ton battle armor, straight through 2 floors. After this, Tony upgrades the Mark II again. This time, he chose titanium alloy material and a classic car color scheme. That's all. The most classic Iron Man armor Mark III was born. He went to the company's annual meeting, ready to celebrate. I didn't expect to meet a female reporter who had slept here. From the photos she provided, Tony realizes that someone is continuing to resell weapons. It immediately reminded him of Jeff, watching innocent people devastated by war on TV. Tony is determined to become Iron Man. Mark III is officially launched. The unarmed father is about to be executed. The children were screaming out loud. The moment the gangster pulled the trigger, Iron Man fell from the sky. The gangster was punched away, followed by a beautiful set of palm cannons. Easy to take down the triple kill. At this point, the gangsters are taking civilians hostage. I saw Iron Man put his hands down. Without waiting for the gangster leader to call for help, an iron hand pulled him out forcefully. Then he went straight to the sky. Unexpectedly, the ammunition was bombarded as soon as it was found. He climbed to the ground. Then I found out it was a tank. I saw an armor-piercing bullet in his hand, then a graceful turn. After destroying all weapons, he flew to an altitude of 10,000 meters at supersonic speed. But this superhuman speed, it was quickly locked down by the military. The Americans thought it was an enemy invasion, quickly dispatched to Raptors. They didn't say a word. It was to sidewinder missiles. Iron Man quickly fires jamming shells, but he underestimated the missile's power. After being blown up, he disappeared from view of the fighter jets. Afterwards, Jeff saw the military briefing. He seemed to have guessed something. The next second, she was in the war zone. It turned out that he was the one who ordered the terrorists to kidnap Tony. But he didn't expect. Tony escapes with a tin can of armor. Looking at the remaining armor, he has a new plan. And Tony knew he had been robbed of power by Jeff. So he let Pepper Potts hack into the company mainframe, steal the latest shipping list. He wants to know where the weapons are being shipped, but neither is Pepper Potts. Understand why Tony wants to destroy weapons. Looking at the beloved Tony, with a resolute attitude, she can only support her lover. Then he boldly sneaks into Jeff's office. Soon he found the weapons list. Also discovered was Jeff's conspiracy. He quickly downloaded the evidence to the USB stick together. Suddenly Jeff appeared. Pepper Potts is not timid. She took it easy under Jeff's nose. All the files were stolen, and when Jeff found out, he was furious, seeing the secret project about to be exposed. But his men told him, no progress on the arc reactor. Tony is at home at the moment, enjoying the coolness of the air conditioner. Suddenly Jeff stunned him with an ultrasonic weapon in front of him, abruptly stole the arc reactor, put it in the already built armor. At this moment, Tony, who regained consciousness, used his last strength, climbed to the reactor Pepper Potts gave him. At this time, Rhodes also rushed over. After learning, Pepper Potts takes SHIELD agents to capture Jeff. Tony put on the Mark III without saying a word, rushed to Jeff's secret base. Jeff was already wearing his armor. Slaughter in the base, seeing Pepper Potts dying. Fortunately, Tony arrived in time to stop him. Subsequently, the two had a life and death showdown on the road. But Tony's original arc reactor, obviously not a match for the big guy. He's about to leave the city. I didn't expect the big guy to be equipped with a flying gear. Tony took a risk and flew to an altitude of 10,000 meters, and the bigger guys get taller. It starts to freeze. The moment he grabbed Iron Man, the armor has lost power, then began free fall, and Tony uses what little energy is left. Barely let Mark III land. Unexpectedly, Jeff suddenly appeared behind him. He grabs Tony and rubs like crazy. It's going to be a hamburger. Tony had an idea and released a jamming bomb. This is breaking free. Gotta kill the big guy now. You can only use the large reactor below. He had Pepper Potts turn the power up to the max, and myself lures the big guy to the top of the reactor. With victory in hand, Jeff also opened the armor in a courtship, with Pepper Potts flipping the switch. A powerful energy shot straight into the sky. The electrocuted Jeff smashed his head into the reactor, became a corpse on the spot. Tony survived the explosion. At the press conference the next day, S.H.I.E.L.D. is ready for Tony. A speech that hides the truth. But Tony on stage, he actually said the classic line that opened the Marvel Universe.
I am Iron Man.
When Tony returned to the villa, saw a mysterious figure. This is the director of Aegis. Dialogue between two people. It's also officially kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe.